I remember saying to a Christian once, I just can't pray. And their reply was, well, that's never happened to me. Well, it happens to me. Even now, it happens to me where there are times I can't pray. And so what I tend to do is sit and just think about the loving nature of God, how he doesn't judge us, how he's so gentle and compassionate, and wants to hear from us and calls us by our own names. So then there are also times when I start thinking, well, how does prayer work? Surely God knows what we're going to say. And if he does, what's the point? And that's another difficulty, really, if we get stuck on questions like that. Difficult because it actually stops us from praying ourselves. So when that happens to me, I tend to start thinking about actually asking God to come and meet me in prayer. And because God's not forceful, so he's never going to do anything that you don't want him to do in your prayer life. And when that happens as well, and I feel that I have opened my mind and my heart to God, prayer suddenly becomes a lot easier. And I can basically just sit, and sometimes I speak to God in words. Sometimes I just sit and sort of, well, it's almost like sunbathing. Yeah, it's almost a bit like sunbathing actually, and I receive from God. And what that means to me is that my time with God in prayer becomes a thing of education, and I recognise that it's great for my health as well. I wrote just a little thing about how prayer changes me, transforms me, and it's written with an acronym for Sabbath. Okay, which is a time of rest and a time to connect with God. So I hope this gives you a little bit more about how I find or how I understand prayer. I have no idea if anybody else feels the same way. I am sure we're all different. But here we go. Sitting, stopping, stilling, attuning, altering, attending, breathing, broadening, blossoming, attaining, attaching, accord, trusting, turning, tranquility, healing, heeding, and helping. And for me, that last word, helping, is so important because it's about looking out from myself and looking to see who else I can bring into prayer, who else I can perhaps understand a little bit more about what they might need. And hopefully, in the words of St. Francis, to be a channel for peace, and where my feet and hands can sort of come alongside others. So that's for me what my prayer life is about, and I'm sure that will change over the years. It is always changing, and there's no shame in saying sometimes it's difficult to pray.